Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope everyone is well and ready for this week ahead. We're gonna get started very soon here. Um, Looks to me there's some potential opportunities on yen pairs. I'll go over pretty much all the yen pairs on the right here. We're gonna start with Forex first and go on with commodities, indices, and wrap it up with crypto. And if we're all good, everyone is on, then we can get started. Hey, yeah, nice to see familiar faces. Nice to see some new faces. So, welcome to ask me any questions as the live stream goes on. So, let's start with Forex. Let's start with a few dollar pairs that I'm looking at and what I think for the week ahead. So, let's start with pound dollar first. I just want to make sure everyone who's live, you can see me, you can hear me, and you can see my chart. Just let me know that we're all good to go. That you guys can hear me and everything's good. First time watching live, normally on YouTube. Great. Nice, 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 nice. Yes, we can. All right, so let's get started now. Yeah, if any of the trading view guys, if there's something wrong with trading view, welcome to watch on YouTube. I think YouTube usually is going to be fine, but trading view sometimes would be good, sometimes may not work. But anyways, let's get started with a few dollar pairs I'm looking at for the week ahead. All good. Great, great, great. So this is kind of what I'm seeing on the pound dollar here. Let's talk about pound dollar here on the higher time frame. So if we really just zoom out here on pound dollar, seeing it from a higher time frame perspective, look where we are right now in terms of price and look what we were before in this area here. We're essentially making the same kind of corrective structure, corrective move to the upside. You can clearly see that this is also an ascending channel, just like the previous ascending channel. And right now we're pretty much getting to this previous high here. This is the previous high where the price pretty much formed a double top M style pattern and then reversed down. Same thing could happen here. And this is why I'm very interested to see how this week will play out in this area. If we notice, we go down to the lower time frame, we're essentially reaching to a recent double top result, somewhere around this area, or this higher time frame double top, which is from this previous high here. So I want to be looking for some sort of bearish price action in this overall area. I think there's going to be very good opportunity, similar like this move that has happened, that we could potentially capture a move like so in upcoming days or week. So it's all about what we're going to see on this area, this lower time frame area. Um, Depending on what's going to happen here, I don't mind this pushes up because I'm looking for sell from the top, right? I don't think for me personally, the buy is going to be limited. Of course, if you have a plan or a strategy to buy, sure, go ahead and do so. But just understand that we're approaching to a very important area where that from a higher time frame perspective, this is what the previous area where we actually have that really good strong sell potential. So I want to be watching this area. I want to see how price move up to this area, either correctly or in the structure, whatever that's going to happen. I want to be looking for some sort of sell opportunity. So few scenario here, either we move up price correctively within this kind of channel, and then we hit this top here and then start reversing back down. Good, and we'll be potentially looking for a breakout and then continuation. Or price move it up to the higher time frame double top instead of just a recent higher time frame top, recent double top, and then we move up to that top here, and depending on how the price gets to that area, we'll still be looking for a sell setup. In my honest opinion, I think this sell will be very, very good. The buy, in my opinion, is going to be rather limited because of these key area that a lot of people will be watching out for a potential reversal. Okay, so that is pound dollar. Really like how this overall trade that could happen if you zoom out here. This is a big impulsive move. This is a correction, and we're right back to the top of the correction. And we already have few swing highs and few swing low to classify this as a correction. And because this overall bearish move is pretty impulsive, any type of bearish confirmation on the top here could eventually lead into the next bearish run in the future. So I definitely want to see if I can able to capture some of these. Moving ahead. So definitely my favorite dollar pair going into this week. I don't see too much on all the other dollar pairs, but I'll go over a few key ones. All right. So let's look at a few more dollars. Let's look at dollar CAD. Dollar CAD here. The important part here, in my opinion, is this potential low here. You can tell that this was a massive impulsive move to the downside. So impulse, correction, impulse. We down to this low, it's pretty much this previous low as well. And instead of just continue lower and breaking down, we just start inclining back up in this kind of fashion and eventually leads into a bullish kind of price action. So we're right back to this bottom here. And if you recall last week when I was looking at this, when I was looking at dollar CAD, I mentioned about you should really be careful on this bottom here. If we zoom into here, someone was asking me, well, can I start buying here from this descending channel? Right away, I say, no, that's not enough confluence to be buying here. You want to see a little bit bigger structure in the making or some sort of inverse head and shoulder. A lot more price needs to develop here in order for me to think about that this is going to be a huge reversal. Simply something like this is just not enough, right? So this week, let's see what's going to happen. Can we get a little bit more structurally descending channel, something like this, and then break out and then continuation to the top? That would be something that I will be looking for. Or you can be expecting some sort of head and shoulder or inverse head and shoulder in this case, and then looking for price to actually give you a little bit more bullish reversal price action at the bottom here, just because where we are right now on a higher time frame. Certainly, this can still break down. You know, this can just consolidate into a bearish kind of move and then still break down. So don't discount that. It's just that because this move has happened pretty massively already, and looking at how the structurally get down, this is almost a higher time frame descending channel moving down. Even though it broke down, but this is an area where if it has a reversal and there's no continuation, this descending channel to me is still very valid in terms of a bullish reversal. So this week, very keen to watch out for how the lower time frame will be doing. This area is super important. I'll be watching out for any type of bullish activity here that can lead into a very strong move to the upside. Okay, so that is dollar CAD. So let's move on here, guys. So a couple other dollar pair I want to go over. Euro dollar. So euro dollar, some of us are seeing it differently. And I want to kind of take a look at it from a different perspective. So if you're looking at it from this perspective, so a higher time frame perspective, this could be a very big impulse. This is a continuation correction, potentially where could be just pushing out to the top, to the next top here. That's kind of one way of seeing this. Whereas if you go down to the lower time frame here, even though this move is pretty impulsive, what we're not getting here is some sort of continuation. This almost looks like a reversal. It almost looks like a kind of a wedge pattern that structure. The price is getting squeezed in and it looks like we could potentially push down. That's kind of a lower time frame perspective that we're seeing right now. So I think the best here is to wait for this overall correction to complete. You can clearly tell this is in a consolidation. It's not in an impulsive phase. Usually after the impulsive phase that we see, we want to see continuation correction. We push up, more continuation to carry on the price further. But we're not getting that here. So that's why I'm more leaning towards what's going to happen in upcoming days. Can we just get it more corrective here to this high here and then complete this potential kind of a wedge structure and break down continuation and start bearish moving down to the low. So that's something that I'll keep an eye on. I'm more leaning towards a bearish bias at this point because of what I'm seeing here. Even though this move up is still an impulsive move on the lower time frame with its own right, but the overall price, how it gets there now, is forming more into the corrective structure. And this top here before the price break, because price hasn't break this top yet to form more bullish price action. So I'll be keeping an eye on this overall area. This area here I think will be pretty crucial. My personal bias here is instead of looking at this from this point of view, I'm more seeing it from that we breaking out of this higher time frame kind of a wedge structure that I see here. And we pushed out pretty impulsively and we pushed up, but this can just all be some sort of pullback, some sort of corrective price action, and then eventually lead down to the past low here. Okay, so euro dollar here, looking for a little bit more development on the price. I want to see how price gets to this area, and then I could consider something when the price shapes up. to that bearish kind of price action I'm looking for. So that's euro dollar. Let's go over dollar yen. So dollar yen here. Dollar yen, I see a few scenarios, but I like the overall price here in this kind of corrective structure. We see on the higher time frame, we've been talking about this, that we're still in this higher time frame kind of channel, kind of a flag structure. This move up originally just kind of not breaking above, right? We broke above a little bit and then just quickly pushed down from the price. This is the massive bearish push down. And because this move here is still rather corrective, in my own opinion, if we get just another push up from the price here to the top here, potentially completing this structure here, like a ascending channel kind of correction, and this is an impulsive move correction, and we can certainly see this pushing down back to the low again. Excuse me. So it all depends on how this move will happen in this lower time frame. Are we just going to move up here and then start seeing bearish reversal, some sort of head and shoulder, ascending channel, mini double top, whatever it's going to form here? It's going to give us a little bit more confirmation that this structure could be finished, and we know that we failed to break the high. I mean, we broke the high, but we failed to continue higher. Instead, we have a reversal impulse now. So if we see a reversal impulse followed by continuation, gives us a very good probability to lead to the next impulsive move. Okay, so that's also, and you can also see this as a head and shoulder as well. Okay, a little bit more slanted. The right shoulder is a little bit bigger than the left shoulder, but to me, market is not perfect, right? You're gonna have to understand that sometimes the market won't give you textbook kind of structures, but you understand what's going on here is that impulse, correction, impulse is not followed by correction. Instead, it's followed by a reversal impulse. This is the difference here. Okay. So that is dollar yen, guys. Those are pretty much the only yen pairs I'm looking at for this week ahead. So pound dollar, I mean, sorry, dollar pair, sorry, pound dollar, euro dollar, dollar CAD, and dollar yen are some of the yen pair, dollar pairs. Sorry, I keep saying yen pairs. Some of the dollar pairs that I'm looking at for this week ahead. Okay. Any question, guys, before I move on to other pairs? I'm going to move on to some Aussie pairs. I'm going to focus on the yen pairs because the yen pairs are the ones that I'm going to be focused on a little bit more for this week. I'll go a little bit more in depth on them. But these are the dollar pairs that I foresee for the week ahead. Okay. Dollar. I don't usually trade these exotic pairs normally, okay? So, but right now, just first time or like haven't seen this chart for a while. But looking at this right now, this is pretty much the previous all-time high, right? And this move up here for the price doesn't look like it's going to continue upwards, at least for this current price action I'm looking at right now. If we look closely here, this almost looks like a potential kind of wedge structure or kind of ascending structure. We know that if we're stalling at this potential double top here, depending on how the price will do here, even if it breaks above, but if we have that sharp move to the downside, this can just be all a potential reversal that completes this double top and price just drop down and continue lower. Okay, so personally, based on what I'm seeing here, just watch out for how the price will develop. This looks almost like if this correction completes, this pushes down and this becomes a bearish kind of price action, potentially forming an M structure as well. That all depends at the end. Like I said, this area here is going to be key. It's still correcting here, so it's obviously let the price correct here first, and then see how the price either going to give us that confirmation push down and then correction to go lower, or we're just going to consolidate here, eventually leading to a more bullish correction like these. And I see these kind of structure evolve into from a bearish correction into a bullish correction, and then it just breaks out and then continuation to the upside. Okay, so. All right, so Euro Aussie, I'll go over. Crypto, I'm gonna go at the end. So this is how I'm gonna go in the order. I'm gonna type it in here. I'm gonna go over Forex first, and then commodity indices and commodities. Okay, so that's kind of how I'm going to look at So that's my order, guys. So I will go over these market first, okay? And then crypto is going to be last, okay? So let's move on here. Aussie dollar quickly. Let's jump over. Not shaping up to what I was seeing, but let's see. Take a look. Originally, I was looking at this to see if this is going to break out of this ascending channel and then potential go down further. But now it looks like we formed kind of a reversal correction here, and this is pushing up now. So not too interesting on what this is going to do. Even if this pushes up, I'm not really interested in this buy. I'd rather see what the price will do when it reach to the top here and then potentially have a reversal, because I still see this move here is very impulsive to the downside. This could just all be a corrective phrase that the market is doing, and eventually the downside to me has more potential, a potential risk reward in my opinion as well. So for now, for this week, all depends on what's going to happen on the lower time frame for Aussie dollar. This could just lead into a bullish continuation. But like I said, I'm not really interested to buy. Okay, if it's in your plan to buy, go ahead. But me personally, I personally don't like these kind of short-term buys. If it pushes up, great, because I will be trying to look for a potential sell from the top once price complete this overall correction here. Okay, so that is Aussie dollar. It's not really on my watch or like on my main watch list because I still want to see a little bit more development here in the correction this upcoming week here. Okay. So that's continue here. That's continue to a few. Well, let's talk about the yen pairs now. I would think the yen pairs are going to be the best. So let's take a look at the yen pairs. Let's start with pound yen first. Okay. So overall, let's just look at the overall structure here. This was the previous high that the price was at, and we're right back to this high now. And I like how we're slowly consolidating here. We're just not pushing up higher. It's clearly that this is some sort of corrective phase. Doesn't necessarily mean this has to come down. All I'm saying is that there is consolidation here. Right? It's good that we're seeing consolidation right at this previous high, and if we can identify what kind of correction potentially that it's doing, it's going to give us a little bit better hand or better edge entering these kind of market conditions. So to me personally, if we're looking at the lower time frame here, we're starting getting to this kind of more of ascending kind of structure, ascending kind of channel. You notice there is a few selling opportunity that we have taken, or at least I have taken for a quick kind of short side sell. But ultimately, as the price continue to correct in this overall higher time frame, we could potentially expect a completion of this overall structure. And I like how there is more corrective price action here on the lower time frame. So you can see that price did push up, correct, push up, but now it's more leading towards more of a bearish correction rather than a continuation correction. So I see a few scenario here on pound yen. We can either just kind of correctively push up to the high of this higher time frame correction, then obviously looking for a bearish confirmation and correction to sell, or a price may or may not reach the top. We can just expect this to push down here. If we notice closely, there is a small head and shoulder potentially that's forming. So if this breaks down, followed by correction, this could be all the ascending channel correction that we could be getting. We complete a head and shoulder, we push down for the price, and pretty much look for lower time frame continuation to sell. And if it breaks below, then certainly look for scaling opportunity if it breaks out of this overall structure for the price. But first thing first is to just kind of be very patiently waiting for this next coming day. What the price will do at this area is very crucial. I do expect more corrective price action here. Then certainly corrective price action can lead into that bearish kind of price action that we were looking for. Okay, so that is pound yen. Do I take into account any indicator on my analysis? I personally don't. But I have nothing against them. I mean, anybody is welcome to trade whatever strategy they want, right? As long as that works within the plan. I see people add indicators to different analysis. As long as that fits or that's to your liking, then go ahead. I personally don't, because I don't like to have support resistance or indicator lines going across that may or may create conflict of what I'm seeing overall for the price. So I just don't have anything on it, just looking at the raw price action data. Pound Kiwi, sure, I will talk about that. So let's take a look at a few yen pairs. I think Euro yen and Swiss yen are looking pretty good. So let's take a look at both of them. Euro yen here, you can clearly tell that price is in a corrective price action. This is clearly some sort of ascending channel, some sort of corrective price action. We're pushing up very, very correctively. This to me is not really an impulsive move, whereas it goes a very strong push and then correct and strong move correct. This is rather steep in my opinion. So this usually could lead into some sort of potential reversal. We're at this previous high here as well. So pretty much adds good confluence to our potential reversal that we'll be looking for this week. And if we look closely here on the lower time frame, all this price action here is not too interesting to me, but what I ultimately want to see is, can this structure be complete like this? Can this break out and then continue breaking below and then continuation to the downside? This is always going to be something that I will be looking for. It's going to be the safer entry, the safer uh, entry from once the correction completes, right? Remember how many times here, if you notice that how many times that price is trying to break out or break out of this overall correction but fails to do that, right? You can see from this point of view, even at this area before the price, uh, you can see that sure there's going to be people shorting this area and it just fails to break below any lower and it just becomes a bigger pullback. So you're going to hear me say this a lot. It's like, the correction isn't finished. This is just a sign from the market that this overall price at this point, at this given time, didn't have enough momentum to break out and continue. So we expect a bigger correction that's going to happen. Same thing that's going to happen on Kiwi yen and Aussie yen, which I'll go over as well. So that's going to be my plan for upcoming days. Just going to want to see how this overall structure at the top is going to do. I prefer a breakout completion of this completion of this correction, potentially for me and head and shoulder as well to go lower, and that would be very good multi-time frame analysis. Everything kind of line up for a potential sell if that develops, and look for continuation once that happens, and then look for a potential sell from the lows. You can expect these lows or these lows as a first potential target. And if we can break the low and then continue, then certainly look for the next low as potential target as well. Okay. So let's take a look at Swiss yen now. I think Swiss yen is very similar like Euro yen. I think even better in some ways. So let's look at Swiss yen here. If we just zoom out here, price already kind of broke all these highs here, but that's fine because we're still in this higher time frame potential ascending channel, right? So even though it broke the high, as long as we still have a reversal breaking down, this high here, this potential top is still very valid because how the price breaks it, well, collectively, and if we have that reversal bearish move down, everything here still lines up for that potential sell. So how I would look at this on the lower time frame is how the price is going to reach this high here, right? We can see that there is a potential completion of a correction here if this move pushes up here. So I always say 2 swing highs and 2 swing low is a minimum. So 3, 4 more, better it is, but 2 is a minimum that I will be looking for. And now the price is making another move to the top here. Although it's moving to the top, this is somewhat pretty impulsive in my opinion. It's pretty sharp. So not going to just short here just because I see some bearish high task candles. Okay, I want to see more price action, right, rather than candlestick formations. Rather, either we push out more correctively now in ascending channel like this. So structures within structures, multi-time analysis, that's going to give us confluence, or maybe some sort of head and shoulder or some sort of M style pattern. Again, it's all speculation. We don't know what's going to happen here, but I will be looking for very important kind of reversal structure here to give me a confluence to be looking for a sell, and then breaking out of the structure and continue lower. Okay, there's the difference here between Euro yen and Swiss yen, in my opinion, is Euro yen is really, really close to a structure. There's not much room for a potential sell, because if you sell, even when it starts reversing, do you have enough time or room to make it break even or take a little bit of profit? Whereas Swiss yen, if it breaks down followed by correction, there's a little bit more room to do that. right? You'll be potentially getting in from the top as well, and breaking out of the structure, giving you more potential scaling opportunity also. Okay, so that's Swiss yen, euro yen. I think they're both pretty good. Again, it's all about patient here, waiting to see bearish confirmation, right? This is the distinguish between consistent trader and inconsistent, in my opinion, is that I see a lot of new traders, even though they can draw the structure very well, they understand that there is potential correction here, but their entry or their psychology is not there. Like if this is going down right away when they see any kind of candlestick or maybe just a bearish kind of sign, they're entering the position right away without that last bit of confirmation. I think that's kind of the make and break between consistent and inconsistent, because doing technical analysis, honestly, technically is not the hardest thing. The hardest part is to not be FOMO, not be fear, to control your psychology, understand that you need to wait for confirmation here. And even if price does reverse, without a confirmation here, you wouldn't enter these kind of trade, because there is you rather be safe than sorry in these kind of situations. And a lot of time that people just enter these trades without confirmation, and then they just kind of start pushing up, they take them out, and they're kind of blaming the overall strategy or blaming the mentor, blaming the market, blaming anything, right? But really, is it the market's fault, or is it us as trader who we didn't wait for that last bit of confirmation to enter? I think that's really the difference here. Okay, so a little mini lesson there on psychology here. Just been talking to a lot of different people on different coaching sessions where they fail to understand this area, which is the concept here. Is just be patient here, right? Price is never going to just drop down like this without you noticing, right? Even if you don't enter here, if the price drop out and form correction, you can still enter here, right? Just because you didn't enter from the top doesn't mean this overall move will not play out, right? So remove that FOMO kind of thinking is going to help you to take way less unnecessary loss in this kind of a situation here. Okay, so let's move on to CAD Yen. So CAD Yen is something that I'm still looking at for this week ahead. So CAD Yen here, I'm looking for a potential reversal, right? Because if we look at the overall higher time frame here, price has impulsively pushed up quite a bit, but this is the previous high that the price is breaking above, and it all depends on what this overall price is going to do. Because we talk about these expanding kind of structure, I made a video about these expanding kind of correction. If price breaks all of this expanding structure, but it's not continue in a continuation price action, instead it's a more reversal price action. So you guys think about that. Is this reversal price action here going to lead to a bearish reversal? Okay, so wait for this ascending channel to complete. Okay, this is still in a corrective structure. You want to see a really sharp breakdown from the price, and then continuation would be nice. First target here, second target here, right? Very simple like that. But patient here is key. Potentially there is a small hand shoulder at the top of the overall structure. That's good. If we price breaks out of this ascending channel, lower time frame continuation, I think this is pretty good. To potential to look for entry down to the first low and then down to the next low here to this overall structure here. Okay. Again, when you choose these kind of yen pairs, you gotta understand that they're likely to all move. Like if they're all going to move bearishly, they're likely to all move bearishly. If they're not going to move bearishly, they're all likely to move bullishly, right? So it's important you understand risk management. I point out a few good potential yen pairs, but I'm not going to enter every single one of them. I'm likely to just enter one of them or maximum two. Usually just one, because risk management, right? You got to think about if you enter 3 or 4 of these yen pairs, if they don't go your way, you're going to take 4 losses right away. And this is the difference between having a bigger, larger account versus a small account. Someone who have a small account will be like, well, I'm trying to double my account, so I don't mind taking 4 yen pairs. But that's because they don't have a bigger account. But when you have a bigger size account, will you still take 4 or 5 different yen pairs on a larger account? It just doesn't make sense from a risk management point of view, especially if you're trading for some prop firms, right? Any kind of those FTMO prop firms or anything like that, they care so much about risk management. So if they're seeing you going to executing those and take a huge risk on your account, then they wouldn't like that trading a bigger size account either. So think about sustainability, guys. Think about you trading a small account right now, you should build up a good practice of how you would trade on a larger account in the future, so you maintain the same discipline, same kind of emotion, and same kind of execution. Okay, so let's looking into some question here. Did I know Falcon XX? I don't. I don't trade that. Double top formula on a higher time frame on CAD yen. Yeah, pointed out. Pound yen, I already went over that, by the way. So pound yen really quickly. I like the overall higher time frame kind of potential structure that we're in. This is a potential kind of channel structure that we're in. Depending on how the price will react to this top, I will be looking for a sell opportunity. It's pretty simple. I like how price continue to correct here. There is a few opportunity that I was able to get in already. It's certainly going to get in on the next one if it completes kind of what I'm looking for at the top here. Okay, so yeah, so for crypto, like I said, I'm going to talk about it later on when I finish the Forex market. So a few more yen pairs. Let's talk about a few more yen pairs. So Kiwi yen is definitely another one I'm looking at. I did take a Kiwi yen position here last week, just taking off for about 0.5% profit. Looking at this, you can see that there's an inverse head and shoulder that price pushed right back above. This is all a sign that this overall move here again, wasn't the move that's going to break out of this ascending channel. It doesn't mean that this correction is not going to play out, okay? We talk about how corrections are. We know that correctional structures can continue to correct indefinitely, okay? This is a key concept. Understand that we can never be 100% sure when this ascending channel will complete. This can go on, indefinitely. That's certainly a possibility. But we understand that every time when we hit the top here, there's a probability that we're going to have the sell setup. We will take it as long as that fits your plan. And because any of these sell setups could eventually lead to a breakout of this ascending channel and then continuation to the downside, right? We wouldn't know which of the sequence that's going to happen, but we know that how a typical correction will end. So to me, just because this sell setup that or the sell entry that I took this week didn't work out, that doesn't mean that the next sell entry I won't take. I'm certainly going to take the next sell opportunity if it forms up to my liking. So this is the area that I will be watching out for. So we had a push down from the price. We had a reversal impulse. I'm sorry, reversal inverse head and shoulder. So we push up the price here. Likely we're going to get another correction here. Probably better to push up the price right back to the top here because we're at the top of the overall structure once again. So if this move up here, great. Now we're seeing a bigger extension of this structure here. So another channel pushing the price up. So another move up here. If it's followed by some sort of reversal price action, head and shoulder, or some sort of corrective ascending channel, or some sort of wedge, that would be something to be interesting to get involved on. Exactly what I mentioned about Swiss yen, Euro yen, all these ones that are at this area now where it's very crucial to just kind of wait to see what price will do, because there's obviously a chance that this can be a bullish move and just start breaking out now, right? The shorting here without no confirmation here is just giving away your money, right? Giving away your profit back to the market. So you gotta be very careful when you think about these. Again, I notice a lot of people can forecast these kind of moves. A lot of people can understand that there is a correction here in the making, and they're trying to be shorting here, but they're just kind of shorting it blind without confirmation, and they take unnecessary loss here just to see price just breaks above, pegging them out, and then just had a sharp reversal impulse followed by continuation. And this is something that I will be entering. And then, but for the previous guy, I enter here, 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 got peg out, and then market had that big reversal down and catching the first correction, and then just continue breakout and then go lower. Seeing this happen so many often, so that I'm more patient, I'm more going to be on the sideline until I see a little bit more development here. Okay, so that is Kiwi Yen for the upcoming day. I think Kiwi Yen certainly has merit as well to be looking for a short. I think most of the yen pairs have very good opportunity for the week ahead. Again, choose your pair wisely. Don't choose all of them because you're just putting your account at risk. Filter out the best one that fits your plan to enter. Filter out the one that fits the best risk reward to enter and in your plan to enter as well. Okay. Any question on the yen pair, guys, before I move on to other pairs? Euro Aussie, I'm gonna go over right after. Dollar yen, I went over that earlier already. So dollar yen, talk about potential development of this price side. So I want to wait for what price will do when this move pushes up to the top here, and then potentially looking for a completion of this structure. So impulse correction, impulse down. Okay, so that's dollar yen. Bitcoin, blah blah. Okay, yeah, I'll talk about Bitcoin later. Okay, I'll talk about Bitcoin later. Uh, Simply following Twitter, my friend, it's not gonna help you, right? You shouldn't be trading based on Twitter or based on news and things like that. If you want to trade more based on price action, based on technical, I think that's better because crypto is pretty volatile, right? So don't just buy or sell because someone tweet on Twitter, right? I don't think that's a strategy at all, to be honest. Like you want to have your own strategy. The strategy should be based on some sort of combination of technical or fundamental, right? It wouldn't be just shorting because someone tweet that they're not going to do whatever. I think that's better in that case for the long-term sustainability, all right? So let's look at Euro Aussie now. Let's move on. Euro Aussie here. So a lot of you guys have been asking me about Euro Aussie. So let's talk about Euro Aussie very quickly. This is the previous low, right? You can tell that this is a previous low that the price is at. There's a few scenarios here, and I'll go over both scenarios. I think some of you guys are looking at this as an impulsive move, and then this can be a continuation correction to go lower. Certainly is possible. Okay, don't get me wrong. This is certainly a possible way to look at. So you have an impulse, reversal impulse, correction, and potentially breaking lower. Okay, so from a high time frame perspective, you can this area, even though it's not complete, could lead into a continuation. Okay. Whereas if you go on the lower time frame, there's kind of you can kind of look at this in both ways. Is that this move down can be in a descending channel, and this push off followed by a correction, all this can still lead into some sort of bullish price action here. So this is the important part where I kind of just circle it out here is like, well, if you get a lower time frame correction here, if this breaks out and then continue, then pretty much this higher time frame bias is not going to be valid anymore because this what it becomes, what people think of it as a continuation, becomes a reversal price action to go higher. Okay, sometimes that will happen, right? So you gotta be a little bit more cautious here. In my opinion, this is the area that you want to be a little bit more attentive to. So if you're looking for sell, I wouldn't be selling on the top here. What I want to see is ultimately a price break below of this correction that we happen to point out on, and then looking for lower time frame continuation. I really wouldn't be jumping here because they can still go either way. Okay, so be patient here because this can even just form a correction. It just pushes out and then continue upwards. Then all your selling bias is really no longer valid when this move has happened, right? So just be patient here. Give price a little bit more time or room to show you what it's likely to do and then execute it. Okay, so if you're looking for short, look for price to confirmation breakout and look for continuation to short. That's kind of how I would take advantage or capitalize on this situation. Whereas if you're looking for long, because you can see this as a descending channel, this is overall could be a bullish reversal, then wait for this price to break out and then wait for continuation. Okay, so that is Euro Aussie, guys. Moving on, don't have too much else. I'll go over Pound Kiwi really quick. Pound Kiwi, now that I watch this, I'm not really seeing much here at all. I'm not seeing much in terms of what on the higher time frame here. Originally, I was looking at this, so this overall push down impulse correction, and then this is an impulse down, and then I was looking to see if this is going to be kind of a larger continuation and then kind of reverse price down to the low. That did not happen. It just had a push up for the price. So I'm not really seeing much price action in this overall area. I'd rather wait for a little bit more development. Okay, so not really interested on Kiwi at this given price action here. And cat splits, I talk about this in my trade recap video that I put on today. I like the overall price. I like how this is a potential double top here, and we have this M style kind of structure, a big reversal. And if we look closely here, I like how ascending channel in the past leads into the impulsive phase, and ascending channel here can certainly lead into the next impulsive phase as well. Even just to the low here is about 5.721, so good risk reward first fits my plan, understand the risk, then execute it accordingly, and look for the price to drop down in upcoming days or week. Other than that, I'm not really seeing much other pairs on Forex. Okay, so if you guys have any question, welcome to let me know what the pairs on Forex. If not, I'm gonna quickly jump into commodity and indices, and I'll go back to crypto to wrap it up. All right. Uh, I'm not really seeing much on pound cat. I don't really see much structure or price here. This almost looked like an inverse head and shoulder pattern, so this almost looked like this can continue higher. After seeing it drop down this much already, this is kind of a sign for the market here that if this is going to be an inverse head and shoulder, then this is going to likely push up higher. Okay, that's kind of how I see it. So waiting to see what the price will do. If it breaks up and then continue, then this bearish move is no longer going to continue lower, likely to going to start reversing up. But even if it reversing up, honestly, it doesn't really fit my plan to enter while the price like kind of just halfway through this bigger correction anyways. All right. Euro yen, I already went over that earlier, so briefly, we talk about this overall prices in very corrective kind of sending channel. This is all corrective price action. We hit this previous high, so potential double top in the making. What I want to wait for is this overall price to actually break down and continue lower and go down. I'm not really interested in this area because I don't think there's enough space here. Whereas as Swiss yen probably gives you a little bit better risk reward to go down to sell this from the top here once it completes some sort of bearish reversal. There's much more room to enter a trade like this versus a trade like this, which is Euro yen. It's a little bit less room. Doesn't mean it won't work out or break out. It just means that if I have to choose one of them, if I have to choose either Swiss yen or Euro yen while the price is still correcting, I would choose Swiss yen in this case particular. But I definitely see most of the yen pairs are going to give us a potential opportunity to sell in upcoming days or week. I think they're all going to look pretty decent. As long as you understand your risk, as long as you understand that if they all play out or if the yen pairs get strength, they're likely to all play out. If they don't, they're likely to all continue to reverse, right? So you want to be careful to not take all the yen pairs. Just choose the best one or two. That's how I would suggest you guys to do it. Just choose best one or two, right? And then focus on your risk management, okay? All right, guys, let's move on to gold now. So finish Forex, let's go on to gold. Gold is the only one I'm looking at for commodity this week so far. So how I would see this, let's say we just zoom out here. If we look at gold, we see this higher time frame push out. We see this is a kind of a larger higher time frame channel or flag kind of structure. And you can see that we actually push up from the bottom. This is pretty good that we almost look like we complete this overall correction here. So price pushes up, originally formed a kind of a double bottom here, and then just push up, correct, push up, correct, push up, and this could be another correction here. I really would not suggest be buying here since you're so close to this top of the structure. Anything can happen once it reaches this top. It can just be like this, exactly the same thing. We push to the top here, and it just had a sharp reversal, and then it still continued down. So don't enter here. Wait for price to actually break out of this ascending channel, sorry, descending channel, kind of a bullish flag, and then wait for continuation. Okay, because we're so close to the top here, there's just it doesn't matter if you enter here or enter here. If the move is going to happen, it's going to happen, right? You don't need to have that fear of missing out because you gotta worry about how the price has behaved before. This can certainly lead into some sort of setting channel similar like this, and all it is you push out here, or even just push out a little, trapping a lot of impatient traders here, and just have a few huge reversal, and then start pushing down once more to the bottom and making the structure just bigger and deeper, but nothing wrong in that corrective kind of price action. We still at the end finish correcting and still have the upside after. Okay, so that's what I would tell you guys to be careful on. Just wait for price to break out, right? Wait for price to break out, wait for continuation correction, and look for the next buy. Okay. I already went over pound kiwi. I don't see much on pound kiwi. Okay, I really don't see much entry or any direction for that matter. So not interested in pound kiwi. Okay, so that is gold. I don't have anything else. Platinum, I will go over. Someone asked me about update on platinum. Again, this is looking pretty much like a potential kind of a channel correction that we're in. So impulse correction. You can see it's rather corrective price action here, and it's not breaking out yet. And my confirmation is always going to wait for some sort of breakout from the price. I think that's going to give you that big confirmation, lower time frame continuation, and then drop down lower. Well, as if it continue to correct here again, correction can go on indefinitely. Remember that, right? So when it doesn't break out, when there's no confirmation, that is a sign from the market that we're just likely to be in a bigger consolidation until price finish correcting it. But the bigger, the deeper, the longer this correction goes, it gives us a higher probability to be looking for the sell. Okay. So that is commodities. I'm gonna move on to indices now. I already went over pound kiwi, my friend, like I said, and I told you that I don't see much on pound kiwi. I don't see much price action here at all. I was originally looking for if this is going to be continuation to push the price lower. That did not happen, so I'm not really seeing much at all in terms of price. So I really don't see a buy or the short at this given moment on pound kiwi. So let's move on to the indices now. Sugar, sure. So I was looking at this briefly here. So maybe you're looking at this the same way. I'm not sure. Potentially we could have another reason double top here. So this is the first price it's failing to break above here. So this looks like there is some sort of a reversal price action here. So you can see that structurally this is moving up in a corrective kind of price action, and then we have a bearish move down from the price. If there is a lower time frame correction, I think if it fits your plan to enter, I think this is fine. I would rather wait. I would prefer more of a potential top here, a double top here, on a higher time frame rather than a lower time frame. Doesn't mean this won't play out, but I'm just saying from a lower time frame perspective, I would prefer. I mean, from this particular case, I would prefer if there was a higher time frame top here that would have a higher time frame top. I think that would be add a little bit more confluence, whereas this is more of a reason double top kind of thing. Okay, so pound yen I went over probably 4 or 5 times already, so you might have to rewatch it. Okay, so all the yen pairs I'm looking at for the week ahead is, at least from my point of view, is bearish. So I'll be looking for something at the top here to be looking for some sort of bearish reversals. Okay, I've gone over a few times already, so I'm just gonna let you watch the replay if you don't mind. Silver, not seeing too much here on silver. Potentially looking bullishly, okay, looking bullishly, but I'm not too convinced if this correction is over. Okay, even though this move up and this is kind of in a bullish kind of move, but this can still be in some sort of correctional structure here, in my opinion, that could still lead to a bearish downside. So that's why I'm not too interested at this given stage right now on silver, because to me it's still rather corrective. So I'm not really seeing the buy here right away here on silver. Whereas when price is finished correcting here, I think they'll give us a little bit better direction of where the price will likely to go. Okay. So let's move on to the indices now. I'm gonna go over. I don't see too much on the indices, but I will go over all of them, at least the US one, to give you guys a pointer on what I think what's going on. So if we look at this overall structure, originally I talked about when this price moved down, don't start shorting here unless there is confirmation, right? This is what I always been telling everyone is this is how the market catch a lot of impatient traders. Once again, is when the move happens, if it's not followed by a solid kind of continuation correction to go lower, then don't enter these kind of sell because this is exactly what will happen. The move, the impulsive move is followed by another impulsive move that just shows, yeah, that an original impulsive phrase is not likely to continue. Okay, sometimes I get these screenshots from people asking me, is it good to short here now? Well, I always ask them back, well, what is your entry? What is your confirmation? And what is your stop loss? Sometimes I don't even hear people use stop loss, which is a big no-no to me in risk management, right? You gotta actually control your risk. When you enter a trade, you gotta cap your risk at a minimum, right? You gotta make sure you don't lose more than a certain percentage or amount, whatever that fits your plan. Usually I always ask people to cap it at 1%, right? You don't want to risk more than a certain percentage of your account. That's how people blow their account fast when they take a few losing trades. Okay, so I don't see the bearish move at this moment. I don't see that at all. Okay, because this move down is not followed by any continuation. That should be a really clear sign from the market, especially you have this really strong bullish reversal impulse up, right? So you want to be careful here. What the price is likely to do here, well, likely to just start forming correction and push up one more time. Once they push up one more time, we're gonna then reevaluate to see what's going to happen at the top here, to at least to give us a little bit more clarity on is the bearish move is still going to be valid and pushing down lower, or this is where we're gonna see further continuation from the price, and we're just going to go on another bullish trend now, right? This is what we have seen in the past. If we zoom out here, every time when price dips down, it kind of pushes up and continue. It dips down, it pushes up, and this dips down, could continue pushes up as well, right? So watch out for this area here to see what the price will do, give you a little bit better a direction on what the price is likely to do. Okay, so same similar kind of setups or similar on the other indices as well. I talk about S&P. If you're looking for a short like this, when the short pushes down, and you gotta make sure you manage the trade, right? When the trade pushes down, if it's not followed by any more further continuation, instead this is a reversal impulse, and you gotta be careful now, right? After a reversal impulse, uh, it's showing you that the original bearish move is no longer having the momentum to push down lower. Instead, it's a reversal upwards. Okay, so you be careful on these kind of positions. Be careful because when you enter at the bottom here, it's already too late, right? When the move has already happened. When the price was forming this top structure here, I was already mentioning this can be a big reversal. There is a head and shoulder pattern that's dropped down. I do think this is reasonably a potential sell opportunity if it fits your plan. So if it pushes down, obviously you should already set it to break even. And when the price failed to continue lower, then either you're going to take a break even or take a little bit of profit. That's how trading is, right? And with the moment you don't see the bearish confirmation anymore, then you need to adjust your plan, right? You can't be just married to your analysis, thinking that this is supposed to go all the way down here, and you're ignoring every single factor that the price is telling you. The prices start reversing up now, then you need to adjust your entry and you need to get out of the market and then watch for price to build or to develop further price action to give you a more confluence to look for another buy or sell. All right, so same idea here, like Dow Jones is this bullish move up is quite fierce, right? Quite impulsive. So if it followed by another continuation, I'm not surprised this will push up to the high here. Again, is kind of looking at what the highs will do. Same thing with Dow Jones, looking at the price hitting the high and then readjust to see if we're going to still get bearish kind of price action at the top, or again, this can just be the end of this bearish kind of potential price action and we just break out and continue to the upside. Okay. Personally, I'm not really interested in any of these buys. I think they're going to be short-lived if it just pushes to the top and then start reversing. So I'm not really interested in its buys. Okay. Doesn't mean they won't work out. Again, I want to make myself clear. If you're interested in these kind of buy positions, go ahead accordingly, according to your plan, your entry, risk management, etc. But for me, the sell or the potential reversal is going to be better risk reward, more promising in my opinion than the short-term buy to the top here. Okay. Nasdaq is the third one I want to talk about. Same thing, we were looking at this to break the low here. So this was the previous low that the price broke, which is great. We pushed down here, but again, there's no continuation to go lower. If we just zoom out here, we pushed down quite a bit already. It's not uncommon for price to start forming a potential correction again. But because I see how S&P and Dow Jones has behaved these last 1 or 2 days, had this bullish reversal. Not really interested in shorting any of these indices until I see a little bit more price action from all of them. Okay, you can tell that it did also have that bullish reversal price as well. Maybe it's not as fierce as S&P and Dow Jones, but this is still kind of a reversal bearish price action from the price that you want to be just a little bit more careful on this area. I would prefer to see if we just fall into a bigger consolidation, that's better because now that we know that we impulse down, break the previous low, we form a continuation correction, we could certainly get another leg down to the low. That's certainly a possibility. Whereas if it doesn't develop anything, if this just reverse back up, then expect the same thing as S&P and Dow Jones. We're going to get this short-term push way to the top here and then reevaluate once we hit the top here. All right. So those are the three indices on US. I don't see much else opportunity on the other ones, but these are the three that I'm currently looking at. No entry, no trade, and I'm not really interested in the buy either. Okay, so that is the indices, and I'm gonna move on to crypto at the end. Japan 225. So Japan 225 or Nikkei 225, you can see that there is something going on here. Let's put it this way. So you can tell that after this strong impulsive move to upside, this is a strong impulsive move to upside. Potentially there could be a correction here. Even though this drops down like this, okay, it breaks down like this. And look how we had that impulse down and a reversal impulse up, right? So this is a clear sign that even though at the time it broke this structure, all it is telling you that the structure is bigger now. It's more slanted into a channel. And if this is fitting by a continuation, this certainly has the move to push up. Okay, and this is also making it a more of a believable higher time frame continuation after you see these lower time frame push up, correct, push up, correct, push up, form a bigger correction, and then continuation to the top. Okay, that's kind of what we're seeing right now from the higher time frame perspective after seeing this big of a structure here. Okay, big of a structure here, impulse correction, impulse out, and if this is going to be a continuation, then we're just going to expect further bullish opportunity to the upside. Okay, so that is Nikkei 225. All right, so that's jumping to crypto now. Okay, let's jump into crypto now. Looks like there's a lot of crypto ones. I do think crypto. I'll go through a few that I'm looking at. I'll talk about Bitcoin as well, and I'll carry from there. So let's start with Cardano. I think Cardano is definitely something that I would be holding for long term. Remember, I talked about there is a big difference between trading crypto and holding crypto. There's a big difference in that, right? If you're trading crypto, you're buying and selling, you're speculating, right? You're buying and selling, and then you're not holding the trade indefinitely or long. Whereas if you're holding, like if you actually buy the physical coin, you're investing, you're holding, that's a different scenario, okay? So for me personally, I already been holding Cardano, I think somewhere bottom here. Forgot what price exactly, but somewhere here before this move happens. This is, and then I traded one of these on Cardano as well, but I was looking for a trade here as well when I see this overall higher time frame completion of this price, and we pretty much have a strong impulsive move breaking to the top. I mentioned looking for continuation correction and pretty much form continuation and just push up again. So I like how it breaks the $2 mark. I like how we're likely to just form a bigger correction here and then just continuation to the top here. So certainly going to be holding my buys all the way from the bottom here and for continuation. Even though my trade, my actual trade I updated in the recap video, I got off for break even here. But I'm holding the coin certainly, and I know that we're likely to get bigger correction here. So I'm definitely going to see if there's more opportunity to get in on another trade while holding the coin for a long time. All right. So I think Cardano is looking very good for the upcoming days and week. If you're not in Cardano, wait for a bigger correction here to potentially get in. I think that's the better move after we break $2 mark, right? So we're certainly going to have potential now. Right? Looking for just give the price a little bit of room to correct. That maybe something like this would be enough, or something bigger. We don't know what's going to happen, but if you're in already, hold it. If you're not in, wait for a correction here. It would be nice. Okay. I'll answer this question really quickly. Because there's a big difference between a impulsive move followed by a reversal impulse. I made several videos on this. If you're interested, you can look at this in my YouTube on my price action playlist. There's a video on uh, reversal impulse price action. Okay, watch this video if you're interested in what I mean. This is obviously come from years of backtesting and doing chart work. Is I noticed over the years when you see something like this, when you see a really sharp impulsive move, whether up or down, it doesn't matter if it's up, but if it's followed by a reversal impulse and then a continuation, this move has a very strong high probability combining with the overall higher time frame analysis. It's the same thing happened here is that we're getting a impulse correction impulse, right? Look how strong this impulsive move is. We broke this previous low, but instead of continuation correction to go lower, this to me is a reversal impulse, and the confirmation here would be if it's forming by another correction here. So impulse down, reversal impulse, continuation. This has a very good high probability to continue. Okay, so that's to me that this completes an overall bullish continuation correction. And if the final confirmation here is met, then I do reasonably see this can push up to the high here. Okay. So we talked about Cardano. Let's move on to Algo. I think someone asked me about Algo earlier. If I can look back at the chat. BNB, EOS, sure. Euro Aussie, yep. Hey, Michael, I'm just going in order, my friend, okay? So just be patient here, all right? I'm going in order of my watch list, all right? So, great insight, man. How often I do these? I try to do these twice a week. I do a weekly outlook on the same time you're watching now. So Sunday night, Monday morning, depends on where you are. I'll do a Wednesday market update, usually during the New York session. So I'll do 2 streams a week, going over all the markets, do a recap and market updates or any position of live or things like that. So I try to do them twice a week live stream. I always post the links in my Telegram, so if you're interested, you can join my Telegram. This is where I post all my uh, streams link. I post my recap videos, my analysis, my educational videos and lessons. This is all in this free Telegram channel if you're interested. So, okay. So let's look at algo. I think algo has potential. I'm looking at algo here for this bigger continuation correction here. So I like how there's an impulsive move to the upside, and this is a larger correction. I'm not interested to be buying or selling while it's in this correction. I would be more interested if we break out of this overall structure here and some sort of lower time frame continuation to look for another buy here. So remember, while the price is correcting, it can go on indefinitely. We don't know how long it goes. So even the push up here can reverse back down and then still continue to upside after. So just be careful if you're buying or selling any of these. You understand that we're in a bigger consolidation. Anything can go while we're still in the bigger consolidation. So personally, I will wait for that confirmation here. Would be a lot better here. Okay. EOS, I'm gonna cover that after. So I'm gonna go in order. If you look at my right, this is my watch list. So I'll go over in order, talk about Binance Coin right after, and then Bitcoin, etc. Okay. Here's some good question I'll answer from Kumar. So Joe, do you suggest take trades as soon as market opens, or is it better to wait for some time due to volatility? If you're talking about Forex pairs, I wouldn't take position in the first few hours, usually after market opens, because of spread, volatility, and things like that. So you're right on the first one. Second question is it better to close trade before the weekend to avoid gap ups and down? That comes to your own trading plan management and preference. There's it's everything we do is double edged. Just always remember that if you close your position before the weekend to avoid gapping and ups and downs, sure you're gonna be protecting capital, but you're never going to hold through a higher time frame impulsive run because you're closing halfway. So others just understand that, right? If you close your position, you're potentially safer, but you're gonna miss out on potential runs. If you don't close your position, then you're potentially going to capture some runs, but you might hit some gapping and things like that, right? So it's all about what suits you as a trader, really. You cannot get the best of both worlds. Okay, you cannot hit the higher time frame run and avoid gapping during the weekend. It's not possible, right? So just identifying what's suitable for you more as a trader. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna look at BNB right now. So let's take a look at Binance Coin. So Binance Coin, we can see that overall price to me is still going upside. At least from my point of view, is this is an impulse correction, impulse. And I was looking at this originally to see another correction push up. It's just that this did not continue higher. It kind of just pushed down now. So I kind of evolved the structure a little bit. This is kind of what I'm seeing though. It's more ascending kind of like. So certainly there's a few potential here is that we can either continue to correct, push another move up, continue to be correcting in this fashion, or eventually we're going to see two options, right? This is because this is more ascending like. Certainly it has a tendency that it could be a reversal, push down, and then continuation to a low. That's certainly a possibility. Whereas sometimes we see market forms into this, but eventually just forms into a bullish move and it just going to continue, right? This doesn't have to lead to a reversal, right? Just because this is more ascending like right now, it doesn't guarantee a reversal, right? We see this on, I think, Ethereum before, right? We see these kind of ascending channels before. Something like this, if there's a scale, right? We pushed it, forming like ascending line, but then eventually just pushes up massively, right? So it doesn't have to be pushing down from it. It can just start building momentum here and then start pushing up again. Okay, so for now, I'm not really interested to be buying or selling. I think this is still in a corrective kind of phase. I want to see a little bit more development from the price if it's going to push up higher or not. Okay, but I reasonably do like the overall bias from the price. Look how much it has pushed up, right? This is just impulse correct, impulse potentially correct down to here, and then continue, right? Even if this move dropped down to a low, all this is telling you that we're getting a bigger structure now, something like this, and it's still is this correction still followed by a sharp impulsive move. We're still getting a tendency of a correction, and if lower time frame give us that bullish reversal, then this certainly can be a bigger correction to go. Okay, so have a plan, have a management way to make forecasts and understand what the price could be going, so you're prepared to execute anything if it happens. Okay. Can you share your TV setting, trading view setting? Sure. There's not too much to it. You mean like this? This is trading view setting. You can rewatch this. I'll go this quickly. This is the symbol side. I don't have too much here. On status line, scale, appearance, trading. I don't link any brokers. Event. That's it. I try to keep the chart as simple as possible. And for these kind of, what do you call these hotkeys? I don't really use any indicators or any support resistance, but these are the ones that I use that are starred or that are favored, sorry. Um, that's all I need to use. I don't use anything else really from this. So, okay, so you can rewatch this. You can see how it's set up after I finish the stream. That's my setting for TradingView. So let's look at Bitcoin. So you guys are looking at Bitcoin. So I see a few people, actually I got a lot of people asking me about what I think about Bitcoin, what I think about the future, what do you think about long term. So I'll give a little bit detailed breakdown here. So looking at this right now, if you can see, this looks like more as an ascending channel. There's a little bit few more swing highs and swing low. Whereas when we look at finance coin earlier, it's just two swing highs and two swing low right now. Whereas Bitcoin has looked like there's a little bit more. Okay, there's a little bit more here, here, here. There's this one just actually break below now. So what I would want to go for, what I want to look for here is looks like head and shoulder. Yeah, that's possible. I'll go over Ethereum as well. Some of you guys are asking Ethereum as well. So because of this move here, you want to be careful at this area. If we go down to the lower time frame here, this is potentially some sort of continuation. It looks like this is an impulsive move, correct, and push down lower. Um, but also understand that this is breaking the previous low, or this is pretty much at this previous low now. If this doesn't break the previous low and continue, then I don't see this being a bearish move. Okay, so this is the previous low clearly. You can clearly tell this is the previous low, and price is pretty much at this previous low right now. Right, we're at this here, we're sitting here. So the logical side of things here is to see what's going to happen here, because even though this pushes down now, this can evolve into some sort of descending channel a little bit longer and then start reversing, right? So the important aspect here is to just give the price a little bit more room. So if it's going to go down further, this is going to break below this previous low and then form continuation, then this is the last confirmation you really need to know for the price to pretty much continue lower to the downside. Right, so this is what you want to see if you're looking for a bearish bias, or if you're in Bitcoin, you're trying to sell them. Same idea, right? If you're in Bitcoin, you're trying to sell them, then this is the last confirmation you need to sell your coins, right? Whereas if this doesn't happen, if this just correctively kind of move down like this, and we could be expecting a reversal correction right at this previous low, and potentially push up and continue higher. Okay, just because this is somewhat in ascending channel doesn't guarantee this move is going to break down, right? And we're already reaching to the beginning of this correction here. So this move has already happened. Okay, and if it doesn't break the low, then that's just a sign from the market that, okay, well, price doesn't break the low now, and if we start getting reversal structures on the lower time frame, then just expect this move is going to turn into that big reversal, and we're just going to go on going into more of a bullish kind of price action moving ahead. All right. So for now, that's kind of how I will play this, or at least wait for a little bit more development of the price in this last bit of the area. I think that's super important. Okay, so, but again, because I'm being asked so much about this, I always say this at the end: is trade your own plan, trade, have your own risk management, have your own entry, stop loss, take profit, have your own decision. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Because if you follow others or simply listen to others' opinion, if they don't play out, let's say if you sold your position here and then price reverse, you're going to be very upset, right? Or if you held on to your position but the price keep dropping, you're going to be very upset as well. So if you want to remove those emotional things, make your own decision, because at least you will know, well, I didn't follow this person or I didn't do this and that. Have your own plan, have your own way to manage it. That's kind of how you become more consistent in the long run, okay? So that is Bitcoin. Let's talk about other things. So let's look at Dogecoin now. Just from a technical perspective, usually when I talk about Dogecoin, I get a lot of bash from people who are like, "Oh, it's not a good coin, it's shitty coin, blah blah blah." I don't really care about too much on the fundamental side. I care about technical side, right? So I'll just explain it from a technical perspective. I like how this pushed down from the price. This is during Elon Musk in Saturday Night Live. It didn't work out for the coin. It pushes down. It falls into more of a descending channel structure. And from the last outlook I have, I mentioned about this is the previous high here clearly, right? If price couldn't break, if the price breaks the high, breaks this previous high here, but does not form continuation to go lower, then I don't expect this move to continue lower. Instead, I want to see more bullish reversal price action. So you can see that price initially pushed down like this, and even it pushed down here, but does not continue lower. This is kind of what I'm seeing here. It's a push down for the price, a big reversal, continuation, and then it push up higher. So what I will be looking for now is, because we broke out this descending channel, I want to see if price will form a continuation, right? This pushes up now. So if this is a continuation, like I pointed out here, this certainly has momentum to push back all the way to the high, if not going higher. Okay, so strictly from a technical perspective, this can be a continuation. This can be a inverse head and shoulder as well. And we failed to break this previous high here, where price is a pretty significant level, because this was the previous high here. You notice once price broke this previous high, we just impulsively push up now, right? So same idea here, we pushed down but failed to continue lower. Instead, this becomes a reversal pushing up, and this descending channel is also complete. So I will be looking for some sort of bullish price action to push up to the all-time high. If not, honestly, push it up to $1, right? That's what we want to see for this in upcoming, weeks or months. All right. So let's continue here. Let's continue here. EOS, I heard someone ask about EOS, so let me take a look at EOS. Which broker do you use to trade with TradingView? I personally don't link my brokers with TradingView. Okay, I don't personally, but there's nothing wrong with it if you like to. I personally just execute all my position on my phone instead. I'm just quicker about it, to be honest. I'm used to it over the years. So I don't link any brokers, crypto or Forex, but I think that's certainly fine for you to do that, as long as it's in your plan to do it. It doesn't hurt. If you're planning to execute a lot of trades, I think probably on the broker, linking to TradingView would be easier and better. All right. So EOS, if we zoom out here, certainly this is a pretty bullish move to the upside, right? This is clearly a pretty massive bullish push. It's kind of what I'm looking at here is there's a few way of looking at this. You can certainly think of this as a head and shoulder pattern. I think that's reasonable to say. This is a left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Um, which I'll talk about Ethereum after, but this is kind of the idea that I was trying to say is, yes, we do see a head and shoulder. Don't get me wrong, and certainly a head and shoulder could be obviously a reversal to push the price lower. But also you have to factor in how much price has pushed up already. Is this going to be totally a reversal dropping down, or just going to correctively move down, something like this, and then we still pushes up after? Okay, so I don't necessarily have to say this head and shoulder will be the one that started dropping down now. I'd rather think of it as a corrective price action. Certainly is correcting here. It's not moving up and down too much. But eventually, if it finishes, we could certainly get another move up if that forms, right? If that impulsive move happens and then followed by continuation, this certainly can lead into that, okay? I think the only thing that you need to watch out for is this previous low, right? If this correction here, this impulse correct, break this previous low now and then form continuation, go lower, then that's going to be a very good confirmation that the head and shoulder is going to be a big reversal from the price, and this continuation on the lower time frame is going to be the potential last confirmation before further downside from the price. Okay, so that is EOS. I do want to go over Ethereum because some of you guys are asking me about Ethereum. Same idea because I think they were seeing this as a head and shoulder pattern. And it's kind of what I mentioned in my Telegram, right? This is all about trading. There's no right and wrong. So if you're looking for a head and shoulder and you're looking for a sell, short-term sell, as long as that fits your plan, go ahead and execute, right? There's nothing wrong about it. So try to open up your vision or perspective on trading is that there's no right or wrong in analysis or entry as long as that fits your plan. So if you're looking for a short-term entry down to the low, sure, if that fits your plan, right? Whereas if I'm looking for a potential bullish bias, because if you look at how much price has already pushed up, this can just be all a corrective phrase, something like this. I point out in my Telegram, like we could potentially see structure like this. And if this kind of pushes up on higher, then this just becomes a continuation correction after all. Just because it formed a head and shoulder, it doesn't guarantee this is going to be the price to continue lower, right? We need a little bit more confirmation. We can't just start shorting because we see a head and shoulder without extra confluence or extra development for the price. Right? Over the years, you understand that you'll take less and less trade because you figure out that a lot of these are just a way for the market to potentially trap people. Right? We see a head and shoulder and people start shorting on the bottom here, shorted just to realize that this start reversing because they forgot to calculate or factor in the bullish move is still valid. This can just be a continuation correction, and then we still continue higher. All right, so that's Ethereum. Moving on to a few other ones. I want to talk about Matic. I think Matic was doing so well. I personally didn't get into any of these entries, but I remember talking about these in my market update and things like that. I love how there's impulse correction, and there is a few more lower time frame impulses. And looking like what the price is doing now, certainly can get another correction here to just push up the highs higher. Okay, so I'll certainly keep an eye on this. I think it's looking pretty decent. If just looking at the overall price, it's pretty bullish, right? It's following the nature of how the price will move, right? We understand every time when we see a sharp impulsive move, if it's followed by a bullish continuation, there's a good probability we're going to get the next bullish impulse. So same idea here, after seeing the strong impulsive phase, if we see continuation here, it's going to give us confirmation that we can get to see the next bullish move to the upside. Okay, so that's Matic. I do want to go over Tron as well. Someone sent me a Tron update as well. You can see there's a few different scenarios. The most likely scenario is what I want to see here is if we zoom out here, we push above all-time high already. I think this is the key here. Not many crypto has broken this previous all-time high here, except Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a couple other ones are en route to do that. When you break all-time high, and then when you form some sort of solid continuation correction, that's going to give you a little bit better bias to be looking for the next buy, right? So if you look at the lower time frame here, I do reasonably can see that if this push down one more time correctively to the low here, at least completing a bigger structure on the higher time frame. So this is an impulsive move, continuation correction, and if there's lower time frame reversal, certainly this can lead into the next move up. Okay, and again, correction can continue to correct, right? Just because I kind of draw out what I forecast or what I potentially see, doesn't mean this move has to break out now. This can just push us out to the top here and then still drop down once more before upside, right? It's just making the correction bigger and larger, and that's all. But nothing changes from a price action point of view because we still see this as a very strong impulsive phase. Likely we're going to get a continuation correction here. Okay, so that's Tron. VeChain, yeah, I can go over VeChain. So VeChain here, same idea here, right? You can clearly see that this is a strong impulsive phase to the upside, right? This is clearly a very massive push to the upside. So naturally, we know price needs to correct. I like how there is a middle kind of correction here. So impulse correction, we impulse. I prefer to see price again push down to this previous low, right? This previous low, double bottom for me, a continuation correction. So again, few swing highs, few swing lows, impulse correction, and then impulse out again. Okay, so all that matters is now if this move pushes down, is it going to form any lower time frame push up on the price, and then followed by continuation to start pushing the price higher. Okay, so that's kind of how I will look ahead on this one. I think there's potentially good opportunities if it forms into something that I like at a bigger scale price action, then I will be looking for a potential buy here. Okay, so that is VeChain. And last one I want to go over is Ripple. I think Ripple has still a lot of potential opportunity. We already pushed up massively from the bottom here, right? This was the original potential entry impulse correction. We impulse out, and after this larger correction here, we push up again, and we're just seeing more of a sideways consolidation kind of price action. So again, it's about how the price will break above this and then continue, because this is a previous high here. If you're holding this for a long-term perspective, then I want to just actually wait until this price action to complete, break out, and then continue breaking above this high now, and continuation. Then certainly going to add in a few trade position or adding more if I want to. But the overall price, I do like the bullish kind of trend as well. Okay. So that is all the crypto, at least for me in the upcoming week. All right. Any question, guys, on crypto or any pairs you want me to go over? I'm gonna wrap it up pretty soon here. Been talking for an hour and a half, but I'm happy to answer any pairs that you miss or any questions you may have for a little bit of time. All right. Okay. Let's take a look at a few of these. Dash USD, sure. So Dash has been pushing up quite a bit, in my opinion. If you look at the higher time frame, we've been pushing up quite a bit from the bottom here already. It's kind of in this area here. This kind of like, this is obviously a correction that's forming. This is still a impulsive move breaking to the top, but we broke the top and we start falling into this correction. So I'm not really interested until I see a couple of things here. I would prefer this correction to complete first, and then break out, and then continuation to the top here. Right, that's something at first I want to see in order for this overall bullish move to continue push up, right? Because we have seen these kind of a deeper harsh pullback on the price, right? If I put it into log scale, um, we have seen these kind of push up and then really sharp retracement for the price, right? So same thing is going to happen here, but this can just be building up momentum to correct and then eventually lead to a bullish push up. Personally, I want to see what price will do once this breaks out and then break above all-time previous high and then continuation to the top. So that's kind of what I see for Dash. Dot, did I not go over Dot earlier? I apologize. Let's take a look at Dot. Very close to kind of what I'm looking at, right? I want to see this overall price action to complete. So this is an impulsive phase. This is a correction. We're approaching to this high now. So all this price here, if it drops down here, don't worry about it because we're still in a correction overall, right? So you understand that correction can go on forever. So you understand also that don't rush these buys just because it broke the high. Buying here, it's what a lot of impatient traders do. They got tagged out like this. The buy should happen when the price clearly breaks the high here and then continuation to the upside. That's going to be the valid buy in my opinion. Whereas this can move down once more and then start reversing back up. So don't get trapped in the consolidation phase. Wait for price to give you a little bit better confirmation. That's how I would enter these kind of positions. All right. So dot went over dot just now. I will go over Dash, went over Link USD. Well, Link USD has been pushing up, right? We see this type of structure once again. We're seeing the correction a little bit more slanted, a little bit more descending leg, but it gives you a very good bias, right? Starting from the bottom here, we already push up from all the way bottom here. This is the first push up for the price. Clearly that there is another continuation to push up the price higher. And you can see that this leads into this correction here to push up higher. So the bullish phrase is there, right? The bullish continuation is there. So you just have to understand that every time when this kind of pullback happens, it's a little bit sharp, it's a little bit deep, but it generally leads into the next impulsive phase. So if you're in already, it's fine to hold. I think if you're not in, wait for this correction to complete and wait for the push out for the price, just like what we have seen in the past already. So Stella, sure. So Stella has been pushing up quite a bit as well, right? We've seen a bunch of these buy seller position from the low here. So price really has pushed up. If you look at how what price has in the beginning of the year, it's only about 0.10, right? 10 cents right now, we push up to about 70 cents right now. So actually a pretty massive move in my opinion. Uh, Continuation upside, right? This is now we are breaking above this previous all-time high now, which is very good. So it's all about what's going to happen here on the lower time frame. So if we look closely here, um, we broke this previous high here, right? So now we're at this high here. I want to see prices continue push above the high and continuation. That's something that will just signaling that the bullish move is still alive and it's going to continue further. Sometimes we're just going to get deeper pullback. It's pretty normal for crypto to go through these deeper pullback. You notice how every time when we push up pretty strong, we fall into a deeper pullback and then continue, deeper pullback and continue. So be careful here, right? This can easily have a deeper pullback and continue upward. So don't get trapped here. Wait for price to break above high and then continue. It's just going to be a little bit safer in my opinion. I'm only looking at, sorry guys, I'm only looking at really the main ones. I'm not looking at anything that's small market cap or anything like that, okay? So I'm only looking at uh, bigger market caps, the ones that I have on the right here. So I'm picking through what you guys are saying. So talk about that, talk about that. Alpha, I think I'll go over that one. So alpha, I think this, I went over this maybe last week once, and I remember this. You can clearly see potentially this is a larger correction, right? This is a strong impulsive move to the upside. Finally, there is some sort of consolidation, right? So this easily could lead into a continuation for the price. Again, it's all about if price can break this previous high. I think this is key now because there's consolidation here. It's not how we break out the correction, correction and break out is that there's a little bit more development here. So that leads me to want to be a little bit more careful. I'd rather wait for price to break above this all-time high and then continuation to the upside. That's going to be better here for a potential buy or for potential entry. Okay. XMR, I do have that. I can talk about that. I because we're at this all-time high. This is the all-time high. Remember, every time I talk about when price hit the all-time high, just want to be careful here because it doesn't necessarily mean price is going to start taking off now. We need to wait for a little bit more development here. If we look at the lower time frame, after price break all-time high, it failed to continue higher, right? You can tell it break the all-time high a little bit and it's starting to push down for the price now. So be careful, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen here. We don't know if this will lead into a bearish kind of head and shoulder. Price breaking above the high, that's great, but it's not fitted by continuation. Instead, it's a reversal push down. So be careful here because we don't know. We need a little bit more development here to confirm. This can obviously lead into a bullish structure, and then we're going to upside further, or this can lead into a bearish move now because of that a higher time frame all-time high. So you don't need to guess, right? You don't need to always have to be like, okay, I think it's a long, or I think it's a sell. In this kind of situation, just better to wait for price to develop a little bit further here. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm just gonna go over two more. Uh, that. This is all first time seeing these kind of prices. So this is somewhat bullish to the upside, sure. And some of you guys may see this as a head and shoulder. So same idea as Ethereum, Bitcoin, and all that is if this leads into a bullish correction, if this moved down correctly to the bottom here, but reverse back up, then I think the bullish reversal is valid right after this push up here. But that's if we get to that if the price correctively move down here and then reverse back up, right? That's kind of how I want to see. If it doesn't, then yeah, you need this head and shoulder can play out breaking the low, well, wait for price to break a low and then lower time frame bearish continuation to go down lower, right? Personally, I would more leaning towards more of a bullish bias because of how the previous trend has been. So price can certainly move down, but it all depends on the lower time frame development here to give you the confirmation. H bar. This does look okay. I like the bullish push off on the price, of course. This looks like a bigger continuation correction, right? This is the more structurally that formed, the more consolidation this is, the better it is that this can lead into a bullish continuation price action. Okay, so watch out for a little bit more development within this correction. Okay, while the price is in the middle, it's probably not good to be buying and selling. But once the price is showing you a little bit more confirmation, either this pushes down one more time and then reverse back up, and this bullish potential reversal will be a good valid entry, or this just breaks up now, breaking above the high, and then continuation here. Certainly, it's going to give you more merit to look for continuation. IOTA. IOTA. I do like, again, we're sitting at this previous high here, and at least we're getting a little bit more structurally. At least this looks like a consolidation that it's more as a bullish consolidation that we usually like to see, like a pivot, or this may lead into kind of a channel, even if this pushed down, breaking the low, but becomes the low of this, then this could be a channel kind of correction. But overall, I like there is consolidation. I think that's what we want to wait for every time when we see a bullish price action, bullish impulsive phase, and we want to see consolidation that could lead into something. So same approach, right? Let the price correct if that's going to correct. Wait for price to break out and then lower time frame correction. It's going to be better entry overall. And if the price moves it down, breaking past the low here, then that's fine. Wait to see what will happen to this previous. So if it just breaks down and then continue lower, then the bullish bias is no longer there. But if it just pushes down and then start having reversal price action, then overall correction is still valid in a bullish point of view. Okay, so that's kind of how I will take advantage of things like this. All right, so I think that's about it, guys. So I'm gonna wrap it up now. Thinking around for an hour and 40 minutes. But to wrap it up, to kind of recap on everything we talked about today. Um, few cryptos I'm looking at, right? I talked about Cardano is looking really, really clean. Definitely looking to hold my Cardano coins. If there's trading opportunity in the future, I will get in on those trading opportunities. But overall bullish bias is pretty strong. I do like Doge on a technical perspective, looking to see what will happen here in order to push the price back to the all-time high. And that's about it. Those are the two that I do think they have a little bit more potential. Other ones do need a little bit more development. Commodity wise, gold, talk about that. Let's see what will happen on the higher time frame if we can just break out of this overall channel or flag, breakout, continuation, and look for potential buy entries. If not, then expect similar kind of ascending reversal price action, breaks out, reversal impulse, and then start pushing down for the price. Currency wise, I do talk about pound dollar. I talk about pound dollar for a potential huge reversal. Just kind of want to see how price will get to at the previous high, all-time high here. No, sorry, not all-time high, the previous high before the price had that really sharp impulse and move down. So I'll be waiting to see if similar price action will be forming here. And like I said, all the yen pairs I'll be really keep an eye on, right? I talk about all the yen pairs that they're looking pretty clean for a potential bearish move, but you just have to be careful and be patient, right? You're not gonna take all the yen pairs. You should take one or two max, and whatever one that suits your plan to enter. I think there's a lot of opportunities on them, so certainly going to be looking out for them in the upcoming day. I think they might even be ready within a day or two. So as long as it fits your plan to enter these, I think it's fine. Like I said, don't enter all of them, right? Because you don't want to put your account at risk. Okay, so that should wrap it up, everyone. So if this is your first time joining me, welcome to. You can rewatch the stream if you're interested. You can go on my profile. All my streams are safe here forever, so you can watch all my streams here if you didn't catch all of them. It's the same thing on YouTube. All my streams are safe on YouTube forever, and I have all these different playlists for price action. If you're first hearing me think about price action, you can learn everything I talk about today here for free. I talk about risk management, all the risk management video, talk about trading psychology, which is going to be the most important part in your trading consistency. Okay, and talk about my Telegram. If you like to follow my ideas, my analysis, my educational videos, my links for the streams, my analysis, it's all here for free, okay? So I'm gonna wrap it up, guys, and thank you very much for you guys to all be here already. So I will go over. I will do another market update on Wednesday instead. Okay, so Wednesday I'm gonna do another market update to kind of do a midway update on everything I talked about during the week and see what else plays out for the first few days and see what the opportunities that we can get for midway through the week. All right. So, uh, so that's about it, guys. So hope everyone is well. Hope everyone is safe out there. And enjoy your life, be healthy, and hope to chat with you guys all next time. All right. Thank you very much, Mike, and have a nice day, everyone.